Let's start at the bottom of the card. Sean O'Malley versus Eddie Wineland. Look, he did what he was supposed to do. Knocked out the veteran guy. I tweeted last night, I was like, usually this is the way it works out. Kind of the grizzled veteran who's been through a lot is on the downside of their career. They lose 90% of the time to the up and coming fighter that they're trying to get behind. And then somebody pointed out Anthony Smith, Glover Teixeira. Yeah, that's the 10%. 9 times out of 10, the Anthony Smiths win that fight. And this time it was Sean O'Malley. Beautiful walk-off shot. The guy has great timing. He has great range, really good power. Wineland did the best he could, made a fight out of it until that big shot, but beautiful stuff from Sean O'Malley. This is what he was supposed to do. That's what most people expected, and that's exactly what happened. Put your money anywhere else. Not a smart bet, in my opinion. But what's next for Sean O'Malley? Top 15, top 10 guy. I mean, that's your I would say top 15. Simply because when you have a guy who's got a lot of hype behind him, fans like him, he's entertaining, you saw the hair and all that stuff, he's a showman, exciting style. You do not want him to run into a buzzsaw early and lose a bunch of that juice that he's got. Some people, and I'll discuss it obviously when I get to the fight, but we're talking about him versus Cody Garbrandt. I was like, you don't do that yet. The way Cody Garbrandt throws punches, you don't want Sean O'Malley eating one of those and getting laid out, which is certainly a possibility. You don't want that at this point in his career. You want to build him up, make him a top 5 guy, and then, if he loses, he loses. That's the way it goes. You've put enough on his resume that people won't consider him a flash in the pan. Right now, if you lost to like a Cody Garbrandt and got knocked out in vicious fashion, people go, oh, well, that's the end for him when he hasn't done that much. So you want to build him up before a fight like that. But maybe somewhere down the line it's a good idea. But Sean O'Malley now is ready for that top 15 guy. You want to give him somebody who has a striking style. It'll look good. It'll be aesthetically pleasing. That's his next fight. So, good one for him. I called Sean O'Malley by knockout. I thought it would get to round 2. I was wrong, but got the knockout.
I see nothing that anyone could say detrimentally towards her performance against Spencer tonight. I mean, she just dominated her.
Yeah.
There was a point there I was texting and I said, this is getting ugly.
Yeah, it was.
Because
the end of the 4th.
Spencer was getting hurt to the point where there was just no offense coming out of her, and she was just a punching bag.
Yeah.
And Amanda's the one that made that happen.
I think it was the end of the 4th when she almost got finished with the rear naked.
Yeah.
I think it was the end of the 4th, I believe. And then she had taken some clean, really good shots right before that. So I was expecting her either to tap or I was expecting for Herb to stop it. I felt like had she been able to just flurry a little bit, I think the ref would have stopped it.
Yeah.
So,
but super tough opponent in Felicia Spencer. You talk about someone that's got to evolve in the fight game. Her striking, she's got the chin. She's definitely got the chin. She's got to evolve her footwork in entering to throw punches. It's poor. It's really poor. And you look at fundamentals and you go, oh man, who are you being taught by that's not picking up the fact that you do this just bad? Mm-hmm. That is poor technique, and that's why you're having a problem getting into somebody. There's things that she has to get better at, and then she'll be back up there as the challenger.
Yeah. I just don't know. She has to make some changes to her strength and conditioning because the explosiveness is not there. That's what I see from one fighter to another fighter. Like she kind of half-heartedly throws kicks and punches to try and close the distance. But the explosiveness is not there to get in deep enough on top-level people like Amanda tonight. Yeah. And so I think it was very evident right off the bat. On a couple takedowns, she got in deep, but she doesn't have the strength. Obviously, not a lot of girls do to take Amanda down, but she didn't have the strength and the drive. And then it was almost like a sense of shock that she got in so deep that she kind of stopped her movement as well once she did get in. Like, oh shit, I'm here. Fuck, I didn't think I'd be here.
And not only stopped her movement when she got in, and then she's in that position, Amanda was able to take her down.
Yeah.
I like how DC cannot get himself out of wrestling. That's a wizard toss.
No, jeez. Yeah.
Now listen, last weekend, Gilbert Burns takes on Tyron Woodley. Talk me through the emotions of watching that fight. What were you feeling as it was going down?
I was watching it thinking, no wonder why he was ducking me and why he making all these excuses not to fight me. You know what I mean? And I was looking at it thinking, oh, God, if that was me, I would have killed him. You know what I mean? So I understand why he went running. And so it is what it is. I can't wait to get back in there and get active again.
Well, what is the latest with you? Because obviously watching that last weekend, that was supposed to be your fight, UFC London. That's what it was scheduled for. Everything that happened with the pandemic and travel restrictions and what have you stopped that fight from happening. Gilbert Burns stepped in and took the Tyron Woodley fight. So what's next for you? Obviously, we're hearing a lot of fighters getting matched up now for Fight Island. Have you had that conversation?
I'll try and get to the title shot. I'm in talks now with the UFC to try to get to the title shot. And it seemed close because I know they can't get Masvidal and Usman done, so I feel like I'll be next in the title shot. Hopefully, August if they allow it. So, one hearing it's going to be title shot. So let's see.
Have you had that conversation this week? I'm only asking you that because off the back of a few things that I've watched with Dana White this week, he's obviously been referring to Gilbert Burns as being the guy that is the front runner to get the shot at Usman if it's not going to be Masvidal. So how far down the line are your conversations?
The phone me said, would I be up for it? I said 100%. Give me enough time to get my weight down, get ready. I'll be more than willing to step in and compete against Usman. You know what I mean? So it's in talks, but I think they're still trying to make the Masvidal fight. I think trying to like what I've heard, they're not paying. Don't want to pay the money. So I feel like I'm ready to go in August.
You're ready to go in August. So if it isn't Usman, let's say something else happens in that period of time. If it's not going to be Usman, will you fight? Will you fight a Gilbert Burns, a Colby Covington or something like that? Or will you hang on for your shot at the time?
Nah, I want to compete. I am young. I'm 28 years old. You know what I mean? So I truly believe I am better than everyone in the top 5. So I want to compete at summertime, August, September. Go from there.
Just want like 30 seconds on Jon Jones. I mean, certainly disappointed to see that potentially he and Dana White are at odds over finances and that Jon is not going to be competing anytime soon. The other part of this, obviously, is Jon Jones, past issues and behavior and judgment, maybe wondering if this is just a negotiating thing or is he really stepping away. He was also in the streets trying to help Albuquerque combat people who were vandalizing. What are your thoughts on what was obviously a busy weekend for the greatest of all time, Johnny Bones?
Well, it was cool to see him do that, by the way. The Batman of Albuquerque. Pretty cool to see him out there. Imagine a dude with a spray can out there, and the baddest dude on the planet's like, "Give me that, bro," right. And you're like, "Yeah, you take that. I'm sorry, sir." It would not go well if you wanted to hold on to that can, but. Kudos to Jon. Listen, I think that he believes that the UFC might be in a little bit more of a difficult spot with everything that's going on. And he feels like he has some leverage here to negotiate and also kind of to take advantage of the fact that most people do consider him the greatest of all time. And if you are the greatest of all time in mixed martial arts, then perhaps you deserve a certain amount of money. And I think that's his point here. And I think he's challenging Dana. I also think he has enough money to retire right now if he needs to. And I don't think he has any trouble saying goodbye to the sport. And I also think that Jon Jones is motivated by a bigger challenge. I don't think he feels pushed by guys like Reyes. I don't think he feels pushed by guys like Anthony Smith. I do think that when he's a little bit fearful or a little bit worried about the opponent across from him, we see the best in him. I mean, you look at his performances against Daniel Cormier and all the other challenges that were supposed to be big challenges. He rises to that occasion. I think that brings out the best in Jon Jones, and I think that's why he loves that fight against Ngannou. It looks like he was asking for something closer to $15 million. I don't know if he's as big of a star as a Conor McGregor. That's the thing. At the end of the day, it's a business decision. I think if he asked for something closer to around $8 million, he could get that. Yeah. But $15 million, if that's what he was asking for, seems to be perhaps a little bit much for this environment right now.